And delighted to say we're joined this morning by a man making his debut, Stephen McInerney. Welcome, Stephen, to you from the esteemed Company YouTube channel. That's Company with a K, of course, in tribute to Vincent Company. And also former West Ham. A big game for West Ham tonight. England winger as well, Matt Jarvis, and Wolves and Norwich and others. Matt, lovely to see you as well. Thanks so much to both of you for being up with us this morning for early kick-off. Stephen, I'm afraid on your debut, mate, I'm going to start with you because you're doing well to have a little chuckle there, but how on earth are you feeling after your beloved Manchester City crashed out last night?
I don't even know yet, mate, honestly. I just sat up last night drinking until stupid o'clock in the morning because it's the only way I could handle that absolute nightmare of an evening. I think other teams have been on the receiving end of that before against Man City. And it happened to us. It happened to us. Genuinely shell-shocked, and I'm still processing, genuinely. It's only been about 3 or 4 waking hours that I'm trying to deal with this. It's a weird night of football, a very weird night of football. Real Madrid can sort of do that to anyone, which is what I'm trying to grab onto. Chelsea fans, saw the weight of their momentum in the previous round, and it's a strange night. This football, it's Champions League at this level, I guess, and City have learned the hard way, and I'm just trying to piece it together still, mate.
Surely it's you've got to give Ancelotti, what a masterclass he's done last night. His substitutions, they changed the game. You look, Rodrigo's come on, scored 2 goals in 2 minutes, absolutely incredible. And Camavinga, what a player he looks like he is. He's come on central midfield. I think he took Modric, I think it was, who he replaced. So huge boots to fill, and he dominated the game and was charging back defensively and going forward, and he was really pivotal in the way that the energy changed for Real Madrid.
Matt, I just wonder from a player's perspective. Sorry, Stephen, we will come back to you and talk much more about Manchester City. But I just wanted to get the player's perspective, Matt, because, how will they be feeling after leading for so long and to almost throw it away at the end? How on earth do they go about picking themselves up from that?
Yeah, that changing room and that flight home is going to be silent. It's really difficult. I've got nothing that compared to that magnitude, but I remember being 3-0 up and losing 4-3 when I was at Gillingham, and that is just, you can't believe it's happened. But for them, the only thing that they can do is that they've got something to fight for. They've got the Premier League. They're going to have to. I'm sure Pep, if anyone's going to be able to start turning things around, it's going to be him. But players, I think you need a couple of days to sort of process it and to get the disappointment, and then you can slowly pick yourselves up and get yourself back into training, even a day off today or something, just to get away from it, to as I said, just to try and process it, because it's mind-boggling how this has actually happened. It's incredible.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how they feel, given how I feel this morning as a fan. But you touched on Pep there, of course. If there's one thing that these players have proven over the past few years, is that they know how to start again. They know how to pick themselves up and get cracking. And we've been here before, unfortunately, as well. We've had disappointing exits in the Champions League and then got on to win, the Premier League title. So I don't really question their ability to essentially recuperate and start again, and they're going to have to, really, because their pride would have took a bit of a hit last night. So they'll use that, hopefully. I'm saying this now as a fan. I presume they'll use it as some form of motivation. I'm kind of hoping Newcastle are dreading playing us at the weekend. I don't know if there will be or not, but I'm hoping it's kind of fear the wounded animal scenario, because we have to. You can't win every competition. Guardiola knows this, and I'm hoping he uses it essentially as a springboard for the last 4 games for us.
Yeah, you wonder whether Eddie Howe will be fearing you or rubbing his hands together after last night. Stephen, look, just on Pep Guardiola, you're saying that the players are feeling bad, you're feeling bad as a fan. Pep is going to be, feeling pretty bad this morning as well. As a City fan, what would your message to Pep be this morning?
I don't think he would care about my personal opinion, but I think he's probably too asleep as well. But for him, I don't know. I've got nothing to teach Guardiola about football, nothing to say about football that would be of value to him. But I mean, all I know as an individual, and I don't speak for every City fan, of course, but me personally, is I'm still very appreciative of, all the great times we've had over the past few years, because, I know the other side of it. I know crying over a different set of results, being much lower down the league. I remember that as a kid. So right now, personally, this is still an excellent time for me as a Manchester City fan. It hurts right now, but we will move on from that and we will celebrate other trophies, hopefully the Premier League title, of course. And I don't think I really need to tell Pep that, because he knows that too. I mean, personally, if I met him right now, I'd be like, mate, that was awful. Last night, that was painful. And he'd be like, he'd do his little thing, he'd be like, that's football and all that kind of stuff. And ultimately, I'd still be like, thank you for all the brilliance that we've had over the past few years. Thank you for breaking all those records. Thank you for winning all those titles. And I would be that, because that would be my honest reaction. So nothing changes.
Sounds like a goodbye speech, that, Stephen. What I was kind of almost getting at there was,
behave, man. Behave. It's not a goodbye speech at all. It's a thank you for everything you've done. Things go wrong, and then you move on, you crack on, and you try and win the next trophy speech.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So it's a firing him up for next season speech. Okay.
He doesn't need me to fire him up, It's just, as a fan, I'd say thank you, and that's it, That's all I would do.
Yeah. Matt, I mean, you already touched on Ancelotti and giving him a huge amount of credit. What is it about Pep that he just couldn't get over the line last night? And obviously in the Champions League in general as well.
Yeah, I know. He's just that competitions that's just not letting him do it at the moment. I think, in the past couple of years, you could sort of say people have said that his tactics and he's tried to overthink too much. I think last night the only thing you could sort of say is his substitutions. He took Jesus off, who was in the best form of his career. You're taking Kevin De Bruyne off, who's arguably their best player, God, the other one's just gone from me there. And then you took off. Who was the other one that they took off? But you took off all three of your best players, and you're coming back from that when you're then needing a goal. And I know it's the 89th minute, and you still think that the game's finished, but it's another tactical thing. Do you take these players off when you've got such an important game? You never know. You never know what Real Madrid are going to turn up. You've seen them do the same against PSG. You've seen them do the same against Chelsea. I know they're all at home and the crowd, but that's what you're going up against. So you keep your best players on the pitch. And it's Mahrez who scored the goal. You're taking these three players off in a pivotal game, and that's the only sort of thing that you could say to him, that maybe he was just trying to save them for the league, but incredibly difficult. And as Stephen said, you can't really question anything else of Pep, because what he's done has been incredible.
Yeah, the ones that went off through the game. Sorry, Walker, De Bruyne, Jesus, Mahrez, and then of course Rodri later on. So yeah, I see what you're saying there, Matt. Go on, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to sit and say that, and it's possibly right. But I mean, you've once again got to bear in mind they needed 2 goals in injury time. So it essentially is an element of chaos in football sometimes. I mean, I think pretty much everyone thought that Man City were through after 90 minutes. That's not to say you got the right call with substitutions, but it was game management. And we could talk around and say Mahrez came off, Jesus came off, De Bruyne came off, but we also brought on, Gundogan, Grealish, players of this quality, Sterling. These aren't like nobodies, These are very good established international footballers. And I don't know if it was right or not, but it wasn't crazy at the time. His first substitution led to a goal. So it's easy to sit and say that, but I think sometimes you just got to admit chaos happens in football, and Real Madrid do the intangibles, they do the crazy things like that. So it could be his fault. It also could be that once Bernabeu gets going like that, what can you do to stop it?
There was no way on earth that I thought in the 89th minute that Man City were going to lose. So yeah, that is very true.
No, that I, mate, trust me.
Jamie's actually been in touch on Twitter using that hashtag early kickoff, in total agreement with you with these subs. He says, I think it was Guardiola's subs which caused their downfall. Mahrez, De Bruyne and Walker, although the last one was forced, he said he had Vinicius Jr. in his pocket. So yeah, Jamie, very much in agreement with you there. Stephen, I mean, Pete alluded to the fact that it sounded like you were doing a bit of a goodbye speech a moment ago, which you said you weren't. But But do you have any concerns that this might make Pep reassess his long-term future?
No, personally. I mean, the cure for these kind of things is winning. If you go on to win the league, which I'm still pretty confident that we will do. Don't want to even talk about the alternative personally. But if we do go on and win the league, then everyone's happy again. Everyone's smiling. Yeah, these new players coming in the summer. We've already got Julian Alvarez, the replaced striker, coming in July. He's a very good striker. There is links to Mr. Erling Haaland, but that's quite a tantalising pick me up there as well. So if those two come in, all of a sudden you've got these two exceptionally young, talented forwards come in. He has got 1 year left in his contract, which is worth remembering. It's worth remembering he's not exactly out of contract this summer, so he's definitely going to do that. He's not going to walk away now, and it'd be stupid for him to do that as well, and I'm sure he knows that too. But once again, hopefully win the Premier League, get a few new signings in, everyone goes away for the summer. They have the holidays, get on the beach and all that kind of stuff. He hangs around with his family, come back in August and everyone's forgotten about it to an extent. Right now it's really raw and really painful, but you don't make decisions in moments like this. It's just naive too. You do it after everything's calmed down. You do it after you've spoken to your colleagues and the board and everyone else. You need a bit of time to think and so on. But ultimately, we've been here a few times, which is painful to say, but he didn't leave after those ones, and he shouldn't have left after those ones too. So I don't really see why he'd do it now, personally.
I think you look at as well. He's got to win that trophy. I think that's his thing. If he had won it this year, you'd probably be a little bit more concerned that maybe he wouldn't have extended his contract. But now, because of it, he's got to be chasing it, as well as Klopp signing his extension. He must be thinking, I've got to try and leave a bit more of a legacy at City of what he's done, and get that Champions League trophy. He's desperate for it, and next season's another chance for him.
OK, so finally then, guys, we know the final. Real Madrid versus Liverpool. Sorry, Stephen, but Matt, I'll start with you. Who's going to win that?
I think you'd have to sort of say that Liverpool would be favourites, but the problem with Real Madrid, that it's this competition. They just know how to win these games. You can never say that they're out of it, and they've proven that with the performances of PSG and Chelsea and Man City. But I still think Liverpool will be favourites. But one quick thing is, this is where you cannot stop the two-leg semi-final in the Champions League. That is what it's all about. Like nights like last night, this is one thing you can't change. So I will say Liverpool, but keep the two-legged Champions League semi-final.
Yeah, it'll probably be Liverpool. Pains me to say it as a City fan, but it probably will be them. I mean, all I'm hoping is that Real Madrid hurt them in the way they hurt me last night. So I'm hoping they do that, because I can't bear that as a City fan, obviously. They are favourites, though, I would say. There's a score to settle, so to speak. Salah wanted Madrid. He said that. So obviously they beat him a few years back in the final. Having said that, of course, Real Madrid, they can do this to absolutely anyone, and they do have that kind of, I guess, that belief and that attitude as a club that, in the Champions League they are never beaten. And a one-off game, it could go absolutely either way. But having said that, I'm expecting Liverpool.
If you look up gritted teeth in the dictionary, your response of saying Liverpool to that question, Stephen, is what you would see in the dictionary as the illustration.
I'm so salty this morning, mate. Not even gonna...
Fair enough, we'll let you off.